The Prince and the Heart's Desire.
In a time long past, there was a great and powerful king who, despite all his efforts, had no heir. The weight of his childless throne grew heavier with each passing year. One day, while looking at his reflection, he saw a man whose face was lined with wrinkles and whose hair was as white as snow. With a deep sigh, he turned to his wise chancellor and said, "My life is fading, yet I have no son to inherit my crown. What wisdom can you offer?"
The chancellor, a man of profound insight, bowed and replied, "Your Majesty, I have a daughter of pure and noble spirit. If you so wish, I will give her to you in marriage. Perhaps if you also make great vows and give generously to the poor, a child will be born to you by divine grace." The king accepted this counsel, and 9 months and 9 days later, a son was born. They named him Arthur. From a young age, Arthur was taught at the finest academies, and in his youth, he became a master of both swordsmanship and riding.
One morning, Prince Arthur approached his father. "Father," he said, "I wish to go on a hunting expedition." The king, after some hesitation, granted his son's wish. As the prince rode through the wild lands, his path led him to a hidden cave. Inside, an old man sat, weeping, while holding a beautiful, hand-painted portrait. Filled with curiosity, Arthur asked, "Wise elder, who is this woman in the painting, and why do you cry?" The old man, still weeping, simply said, "Young man, leave my heart through its sorrow." But Arthur, his soul stirred, vowed by all that was sacred, "I beg you, tell me the truth." The elder sighed deeply. "Since you insist, know that your life may be at risk. This is Alara, a princess so desired that men from every kingdom seek her hand. Yet she accepts no one and has taken the life of every suitor who has dared to approach her. She is the daughter of the king of the city of Byzantium."
With a single glance at the portrait, Arthur fell hopelessly in love. Overwhelmed by longing, he returned home. Without a word to his parents, he packed his belongings and began the long journey to the city of Byzantium. A stranger in a strange land, he felt lost and disoriented. His heart, consumed by a love that bordered on madness, left him wandering aimlessly through the narrow streets. He had lost his ability to reason, driven only by the desperate need to find his beloved. Hours passed until he found himself in a quiet, old alleyway. There, he saw an old woman with a frail, stooped back, struggling with a heavy basket of groceries. Her steps were slow and unsteady, as if she might collapse at any moment. Seeing her struggle, a thought occurred to Arthur. This woman has lived in this city for a long time. She must know its stories and secrets, perhaps even the secrets of Princess Alara.
He walked over and, with great respect, offered his help. "Mother," he said, "allow me to assist you." The old woman, surprised by his fine clothes, smiled and accepted. Arthur took the basket and walked beside her. The old woman, whose name was Marta, knew from his noble face and expensive garments that he was no ordinary traveler. Her heart ached for this young man who, despite his appearance, seemed so utterly lost and broken. "My son," she said gently, "my home is small and humble, but if you would not mind, come and be my guest for the night." Arthur accepted with great joy and gratitude.
Once inside her home, Arthur's grief overwhelmed him, and he began to weep, his shoulders shaking. The old woman sat beside him and asked in a comforting, motherly tone, "My son, what weighs so heavily on your heart?" "Nothing is hidden from God, so nothing is hidden from me." With a trembling voice, Arthur confessed, "Mother, I am a prince from a faraway land. But today, in this city, I have lost my heart. I saw a painting of Princess Alara and fell in love. My life is now a fragile thread, and I have come all this way just to see her." Marta's eyes widened in concern. She saw not only love in his eyes but a frantic despair. Knowing the city's dark secrets, she warned him, "Young man, have mercy on your own life. Do you not know that every suitor who has sought her hand has been killed? She is Alara the bloodthirsty."
Arthur looked up, his voice filled with unwavering resolve. "Mother, I know. I understand that the story you tell may lead to my death, but I no longer care. If you cannot help me, I will surely die. Life without her holds no meaning." The old woman was stunned by his determination. Her heart ached for his madness, and she thought, "This young man is pure and noble. How can I not take pity on him?" She placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Rest, my son. God is great. I will think of a plan for you in the morning."
The next day, Arthur, moved by Marta's compassion, gave her a handful of jewels. Marta, now certain he was a prince, feared for his life. She took some prayer beads, draped 3 or 4 rosaries around her neck, picked up her staff, and with slow, shuffling steps, made her way to the princess's palace. A servant brought her to the court. Alara asked, "Old woman, where do you come from?"
Marta approached Alara slowly, her gaze piercing. A wisdom in her eyes silenced the princess. Without any introduction, the old woman said, "My daughter, I am not from this land, but I know your secret. I see the great sorrow that burdens your heart." She then looked directly at Alara and, feigning ignorance, asked, "With all your beauty and grace, why do you not marry?"
Alara, enraged by the question, slapped the old woman across the face. But a moment later, she regretted her outburst. Her heart was moved by Marta's suffering, and she felt a compelling urge to tell her the truth. With tears in her eyes, she confessed her secret. "I had a dream," Alara said. "I was a doe in the wilderness, and a stag became my companion. His leg became stuck in a basin of hardened clay. I ran to a spring, filled my mouth with water, and returned to pour it on the clay until it softened, setting him free. Afterward, my leg got stuck. He went for water, but never returned. When I awoke, I vowed to kill every man who came to me, for I believed they were all faithless.
The old woman returned to Arthur and told him everything. She then revealed her plan. You must build a bathhouse and have paintings placed on the walls. The first, a stag and a doe grazing. The second, the stag caught in the clay, with the doe bringing water to save him. And the third, the doe caught in the clay, with the stag having been shot by a hunter on his way to bring water. Arthur had the bathhouse built, a task that took 1 to 2 months. Soon, news of the wondrous bathhouse, a place of unrivaled beauty, spread throughout the city. Alara, hearing of its fame, said, "I must see this bathhouse." At her command, the streets were cleared, and she went to the baths. Awestruck by its architecture, she suddenly saw the paintings. She sighed, a deep, sorrowful breath, and with that sigh, her understanding of her dream completely shifted. Her belief that men were faithless was shattered. She vowed to stop her bloody quest and find her true mate.
When the old woman heard that Alara had visited the bathhouse, she returned to Arthur. Alara went to the bathhouse today, she told him. Now, tomorrow morning, put on a white tunic and go to the palace. 3 times, shout with a clear voice, "Alas, my stag." The guards will chase you, but you must run away. Repeat this for 2 days, the first in white, the second in green, so that word of your strange behavior spreads. But on the 3rd day, wearing a red tunic, do not run. Let them capture you and take you to Alara. When you are brought before her, say, "I had a dream. I was a stag and was grazing with my doe. Her leg got caught in a clay-filled hole. I ran to find water, held it in my mouth, but on the way back, a hunter shot me, and I was taken captive. Since I awoke, I have wandered from city to city, searching for my lost doe."
Arthur followed her instructions perfectly. On the 3rd day, the guards captured him and brought him to Alara. Seeing him, her heart trembled. "Why did you do this?" she asked. Arthur told her his story. Alara was so overcome with emotion she fainted. When she awoke, she smiled at him and asked, "Young man, who are you and where do you come from?" Arthur, now confident in her love, proudly revealed that he was the son of the king of Camelot. Alara, knowing he was her true soulmate, immediately wrote a letter to her father, the king of Byzantium, asking him to arrange her wedding. The king was astonished by her sudden change of heart, but when he learned the groom was the son of the king of Camelot, he was overjoyed. He wrote back, giving her his full blessing, and arranged a magnificent wedding.
Meanwhile, Arthur's father, who had lost his only son, disguised himself as a traveling mendicant, wandering from city to city in search of him. The day of the wedding arrived, and Arthur's father, by chance, entered the city of Byzantium. The city was aglow with lights and filled with music. He asked a man, What is the celebration for?" The man replied,